Dear students, you are welcome in the Education Department at SHAHD Association. Our lesson today is metals and non-metals. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more lessons and don't forget to activate the bell to stay notified. Today, we have two objectives. We will list the properties of metals. We will also list the properties of non-metals. As we saw in the Explore section, that some materials differ from others depending on their composition. Our lesson today is about these materials, metals and non-metals. But before we start our lesson, let's list some metals and some non-metals. For example, in the metals we have copper, lead, tin, nickel, steel, zinc, and in the non-metals we have carbon, sulfur, phosphorus. Let's start our lesson by listing the properties of metals. The first property of metals is lustrous. Metals have luster. This means that they are shiny, as you can see in the two pictures. The first one is for copper and the second one is for gold. These two pictures show the metal that's shiny. We have also different examples of metals like silver, iron, and so on. The second property of metals is ductility. We can say that metals are ductile. That is, they can be drawn into thin wires, as you can see in the two pictures. The first one is for copper wire, and the second one is for aluminium wire. Most of the metals can be ductile and can be drawn into thin wires, for example for silver and for iron. The third property in metals is that they have high density. Particles in the metals are close to each other, as you can see in this picture. Because they have high density, they are considered to be heavy. Metals are good conductors of heat and electricity. That is, it allows heat and electricity to pass through. As you can see in the first picture, this metal allows the heat to pass from the fire into the water inside. Also, in the second one, it is made up of copper. It allows electricity to pass through. Metals are also sonorous. It means it makes sound when it hits with an object. For example, in the bells or in the strings of guitar. So when they are hit, they produce sound. Metals also have the property of hardness. Metals are generally hard in nature, as in gold and iron in the hammer. Metals are also malleable. That is, they can be beaten into thin sheets with hammer. For example, iron, copper, gold, and aluminium. In this process, the hammering of the gold block, it produces gold coins. Or the hammering of aluminium, it produces foils of aluminium. The final property of metals is that they have high melting and boiling points. Metals have high melting and boiling points, as you can see in this table. Now we will move to the non-metals and we will list the properties of non-metals. The first property is that they are not malleable and they are not ductile. Non-metals are not malleable, but they are brittle. This means that they can break easily. Nonmetals are also not ductile. They cannot be drawn into wires. An example of nonmetals, sulfur and phosphorus. The second property of nonmetals, they are not sonorous. It means that they cannot produce sound when it hits with a hammer. For example, bromine and fluorine. The third property of nonmetals is they have low density. Also, nonmetals have low melting and boiling points. For example, for hydrogen and for carbon. They both have low density and low melting and boiling points. Nonmetals are generally soft in nature. For example, for gold and phosphorus, both these nonmetals are soft in nature. The final property of nonmetals is for conductors of heat and electricity. Nonmetals are generally bad conductors of heat and electricity. They do not allow neither the heat nor electricity to pass through. For example, iodine. This is the end of our lesson today. If you have any questions on the worksheet, please don't hesitate to contact me.
Thanks for watching. If you like this lesson, make sure to subscribe to our channel for more. And don't forget to click the bell to get all updates.